Hello, this is Harry Norman for Proactive Investors, and welcome to another Proactive audio interview. Today is the 28th of February 2012, and I'm speaking on the phone in Almaty with Tim Daffern, CEO of Hambledon Mining, listed on the AIM market mining sector. Stock ticker HMB, share price 3.28 pence, market capitalisation £30.2 million sterling. Web address hambledon-mining.com. Tim, thank you very much for joining us for this interview.
Harry, it's a pleasure talking to you.
On the 22nd of February, the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development agreed to invest $20 million US in Hambledon Mining. What are the terms of this investment, and what do the EBRD see in Hambledon Mining?
The investment by EBRD is broken down into $3 million of equity, $2 million worth of warrants exercisable within 2 years, and a $15 million debt facility broken into two tranches. The first is $10 million, which is to come into Hambledon in the next 6 to 8 weeks, and another $5 million after an operational benchmark for the underground mine has been achieved, which we believe will be at the end of this year. EBRD particularly likes Hambledon because of its strong commitment to environmental management, social development of local people, and the development of a major project in a poverty-stricken region of northeast Kazakhstan.
Please talk investors through the production and cost benefits of the Sekisovskoye gold mine improvement program.
When I joined Hambledon just on 16 months ago, the company had a number of historic issues which I identified to the board, and we set about a program where we sought funding from our shareholders in Q1 of 2011 and have used those funds to improve our waste management, maintenance and engineering programs, refurbish infrastructure, and deal with large quantities of waste that had been left behind in our open pit mine. This created a spike in our operating costs to over $1,000 an ounce. This year, as we continue and finish off our improvement program, we look to see our cash costs come down to around $900 an ounce, including royalty and all regional office overhead.
What can you tell investors about the transition from open pit to underground mining at Sekisovskoye, and how the higher grade underground gold ounces will benefit production figures?
Over the last few years, Hambledon Mining has achieved a steady state production of around 22,000 ounces per year from our open pit mine. That will continue through until the end of 2014. Over the last 2.5 years, the company has invested in excess of $20 million, which has been put into refurbishing shafts, constructing declines, and underground infrastructure to bring the underground mine to life, which we did in early November 2011. Since then, we've mined approximately 30,000 tonnes of ore and processed around 17,000 tonnes. As we start to bring the higher grade ore into our process plant, this year we'll see around 30,000 ounces produced, and then step by step increasing up to over 100,000 ounces over the next 5 years. The underground ore allows Hambledon to expand its gold production.
Hambledon recently reported some underground drilling results from Sekisovskoye, including 9 metres at 10.9 grams per tonne gold. Please talk us through the state of reserves and resources at Sekisovskoye and the prospects for increasing them.
Over the last year or so, we have completed some 12,500 metres of diamond drilling with some tremendous drill results, as you've just articulated, Harry. We'll continue with this program this year and early into next year. This has allowed us to commence a robust review of our mineral resource models, which are being currently completed by an independent geologist from Great Britain. This person is being assisted by 2 highly regarded specialists from Perth in Western Australia. We hope in May to release the results of that mineral resource and mineable reserve estimate to the market, and full details of that will be set out in our annual report, again released in early June of 2012.
What can you tell investors about the Tailings Dam 3 leak incident at Sekisovskoye and progress with the company's appeal against a fine of £1.17 million?
The tailings dam incident in late October last year was a great shock to all of us and a real disappointment after the improvement program works that has gone on during the year. It was a modest leak and there was no long-term pollution to any of the surrounding environment, and operations resumed very quickly. We cooperate fully and transparently with the local Kazakhstan authorities and regulators, and we are confident that with our scientific approach that we will be able to refute the current claim for costs against the company. We do not believe that there is any long-term effect to the company or its operations because of this incident.
What was compelling about Hambledon's recent acquisition, Akmola Gold, with deposits at Tello and Stepok?
There are two compelling reasons. Close to infrastructure, the low cost of buying 500,000 ounces of gold for around $5 million, and that we're able to fairly quickly develop the Talur operation so that it's operational and cash generative next year. Overall, the acquisition allows us to reduce our overall cash costs for the group, which allows us to maximise cash generation, a fundamental feature of our business model, and allowing us to improve the development of all of our projects through cash rather than through debt or equity raising.
What is the temperature today in Kazakhstan? What can you tell us about how production is holding up at Sekisovskoye this winter? And what are your thoughts on operating a mining company in Kazakhstan?
It's a balmy minus 16 degrees as I sit here and talk to you from the commercial capital, Almaty. It's been a pretty normal winter here. We have a Siberian climate, so we had some minus 45s earlier on in this year, but that's normal for Kazakhstan and nothing to worry about. Q1 has historically, and will be until the open pit closes, a time of reduced gold output for our business. The coldness is a difficult thing to combat. But ultimately, we've made some good improvements last year on Q1, and we see this year's Q1 being a little bit better than last year's Q1. So we're seeing good winterization improvements. Operating in Kazakhstan is not for the faint-hearted. It requires determination, conscientious approach, and a profound ability to deal with bureaucracy, which is a component of dealing with the regulators and the administrators here. But the flip side of that is tremendous people with a great work ethic, a great sense of humour, tremendous loyalty to the business, and very well trained under the educational system here in Kazakhstan. So I think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages manyfold.
Following the deal a week or so ago with the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, what can you tell investors about Hambledon Mining's capital structure and financial situation going forward?
The capital structure is that we've now received the funds from the institutional placing, so that was around about $9 million, which is now in our local and PLC bank accounts, so we're cash positive, generating good cash from our sale of gold to Metalor in Switzerland. The capital structure allows us to keep a modest debt on our balance sheet and to be able to service that debt easily and simply over the next couple of years. We've got a $26 million capital development program in our process plant, infrastructure, most importantly focused on the underground development and the Akmola gold projects. So we're well funded for the next 12 to 18 months and very pleased with our current cash position.
What can investors expect from Hambledon Mining over the next 12 to 18 months, Tim?
An increase in gold production from the current 22,000 ounces up to around 30,000 ounces, a good news flow through drilling results, development of the underground mine, commencement of operations and development of the Akmola gold projects, and continued news about the improvements we're making to make the infrastructure at Hambledon Mining Sekisovskoye project robust and serviceable for the next 20 to 30 years as we expand our group.
How undervalued do you consider Hambledon Mining to be?
Harry, very undervalued. I've continued to put my own monies into buying Hambledon shares and will continue to do so because I believe in the company over the long term. I think that the shares at the moment are significantly undervalued, and along with recent research analysts believe that the share price is due to be well north of 10 pennies as soon as we get moving forward over this next 10 to 18 months. And I feel that the market doesn't appreciate the significant efforts gone into developing the underground mine and the development of the Akmola project. And I think that once people see this, our share price will rebound significantly.
What can you tell investors about the mothballed Ognevka project?
The Ognevka project has been fully written down by the PLC and is no longer sitting on our books per se. Having said that, the Ognevka project has recently been through into liquidation and bankruptcy process here in Kazakhstan, which is distinctly similar to the process we would have in Western Europe. We're the senior creditor for that bankruptcy, and the auction which occurred recently will see the majority of funds after administrative expenses forwarded to Hambledon, so we will get a modest but welcomed windfall in the next few months.
Remember, Proactive Investors is not an investment advice service. Make sure you register at proactiveinvestors.co.uk for our weekly newsletter, which will keep you informed about our events, interviews and articles. Thank you for listening.